But on many different occasions in the past 138 days, I've had moments where I have felt so hopeless and so lost. And then I just hear this voice telling me to look for the light. Look at the light. Feel the light. Feel it, Mom. Do you feel it? Hello, everybody, and greetings to you from my little world here in Connecticut. Just want to say hi. Welcome to the Adapted Life podcast. I am Julie Hasselberger, and I'm here to record episode 29, during which I'm going to talk kind of a little bit more about what life is like adapting to circumstances that are extreme and difficult. And when I started this podcast, it was focused on helping and supporting others who might be dealing with having a child, especially with severe disabilities. You know, watching your life completely have to transform in order to take care of all the things that need to be done, and the challenges and the blessings that kind of travel the journey with you. But as I've talked about, we unexpectedly lost my son in January, and it is now May. So I think it is let's see. So today is 138 days since Daniel passed away. There are moments when it still feels like yesterday, but it's just a really, really difficult time that we've been going through. And so for me, having my life been just altered so dramatically, I felt that it's important to share what I'm going through now, because there has to be a reason why I started telling this story. So I feel like the story is not over just because Daniel has physically left our earth and in his physical form anyhow. Anyways, this is a checking in of sorts. It's been over 4 months now. So I just wanted to let you guys know also that if you are grieving, if you are resonating with this, if you have lost anybody, I would love to hear from you and just connect, because it's, as I've been learning and experiencing, connection is a very important part to healing and coping with grief, which is insane. Grief is just, whew, I don't even, I want to go there at this moment. But if you've had an overly full life of caregiving and then all of a sudden you've lost that person and the life that you had created in order to sustain that person, then I'm hoping that I have terrible issues with sinuses. So forgive me if I cough or sneeze. Allergies are terrible. If you're lost, or you just need a friend, or you just know our story and you want to connect, if you knew Daniel, if you didn't know Daniel, if you're currently a caregiver, um, in whatever situation, I believe in my heart that this community is here for the during, for the before, and for the after. So I'm often trying to like contemplate what to write, what to record, what to talk about. Um, how am I going to create something now in my current mental state? And in what way, on what platform do you try to create something to help people when you feel like your internal soul is just like just screaming? But I'm here because I believe that personally that Daniel is so wise and always was, but he couldn't use words. You know, he couldn't speak. But on many different occasions in the past 138 days, I've had moments where I have felt so hopeless and so lost. And then I just hear this voice telling me to look for the light. Look at the light, feel the light, feel it, mom. Do you feel it? Anyway, I am on the other side of being a special needs caregiving, all in all, 100 hours in a day kind of person, taking care of every single thing for him and for us. And now I just have a lot of time on my hands to think about it, remember, tell stories. It's all memories. And there's still a lot of it in my house. My house is still filled with Daniel's things, which I haven't been able to deal with that yet. Um, and I'm surrounded by many blessings. And of course, all those triggers that remind me of what life was like taking care of Daniel. Um, there are many days that I feel like I'm losing my sanity. I dissociate or I become sort of just unable to focus. And you know what I'm saying? Like you go through the motions of your day and then you just don't really feel like you're connected to anything. My entire life, honestly, especially after Sarah moved away to California and Thomas went to college in Boston for music, my entire life and world, my job, my vocation, everything was really Daniel. I created the house into a place where he could have his vocational day because he didn't go to school anymore. So we just wanted it to be joyful and enriching and, medically equipped and creatively equipped and fun and peaceful, all those things. So it was all day, every day, focusing on taking care of him and making sure he had everything that he needed as much as possible. So there was a constant hum to my house. Like it was like a machine. People were coming and going, different nursing shifts, different caregivers coming, therapy, 3 or 4 different therapists at different times, uh, back and forth to CVS, equipment providers coming, deliveries, ordering, laundry, so much laundry, just a lot of care and going to doctor's appointments and going to the hospital for clinics and just it was a lot. It was a lot and it was very fulfilling and very rewarding. And now my house is just a quiet house. Like a lot of houses where the kids grow up and leave. That's how it is. All there is now is an occasional bark at the mailman. Nobody comes to visit. Nobody comes to take care of anybody because it's not needed. And it's just a house that's containing a lot of memories and a lot of feelings. And it's just so, so quiet and still. Daniel's presence, his spirit was so wonderful. You know, he was part of like the whole, like he brought everything to life. And it's hard to live here without that. It's still the early days and I get it. I guess I'm supposed to have breakdowns, the grief washes over me, like a tsunami. Like I'll think I'm okay, I'm doing good, I'm doing good. And then all of a sudden, like John was away last week and I thought I was doing great. And then I couldn't even breathe. I was sobbing so hard. It was like it just happened. And I had to call him on the phone and he had to like walk me down off the ledge, so to speak, and just help me to like refocus and self-care. And so push into self-care. So I'm looking out my window here and it's a beautiful May day. The trees are bright green, the sky is blue. And here in my podcast room, I'm surrounded by poetry, books, a gloriously fluffy pink blanket, my angels, my flute, all these things, right? Beautiful things all around me. That's why I love this room. It's like all Julie things. And I do this, it's just like my healing spot. I come in here to remind myself that, I'm still me and it's okay. And I still notice the beautiful day. I notice the beautiful things. Uh, it's just different when it's laced with grief. But I'm also very grateful that at this time I do not have to run out and get a job. Like I really am very grateful. I mean, John's still working, honestly, but I do have the space to kind of heal and deal with a lot of this and figure out who I am because I don't know really. Um, my trauma was so deep that it was recommended that I take my time to really self care and, you know, go slow. So that's the plan, I guess. Part of my current process is deep reflection into like what's going to come next. I still want to encourage others. I want to do something with all this knowledge and all of this insight that had brought me to this whole podcasting thing in the beginning, right? So what comes next for me? I don't know. But I want to be here for other people because I know that we need each other. And I know some people don't. I mean, everyone's different. I tend to be a very verbal person and I'm a very extroverted person. So it it makes me want to reach out and just let people know that you're not alone, either still in your caregiving journeys or after. And when life just ends abruptly and you don't know what to do, it's easy to feel alone, but you're not alone. I'm not alone. I thought I was. I felt like it for about 2 months, total isolation. But I thought I would just share with you guys here are some of the things that I have done as a grieving mom who just lost her 26-year-old son in January. Here's some of the things that I've been doing with my time. I've been reading a lot. I always liked to read. I didn't have a lot of time to read, but now I'm reading like a real lot, a crap ton of books. Like I'm just absorbing and going through them. I used to read maybe a book like on a vacation. Now I have like I think I think I've read 22 books, which is a lot for me, and I have a pile still waiting. So all different kinds of genres, nonfiction, fiction, like all different kinds. So I've also been journaling a lot too, and reading books about grief and loss, and um, just try to work through those feelings and emotion. I tell you, journaling. My niece sent me a grief journal, and it's very artistic and creative. And it's just been a really good tool for just kind of like getting it out on paper. So that was fun. Painting, number two. I'm not a painter, but Daniel and I had started painting a couple of years ago. We created the art shop called Daniel's Special Art, and we would do it together. So, in the process of helping him to create art, I also realized, I really enjoyed painting. So, I started painting more and more. So, in late February, March, I signed up for a watercolor class. So I took a class at the local high school. It was beginner class, but it felt good to engage with other people and engage in something creative where it just made my brain just focus on that, and that was really helpful. I really do love painting. This was watercolors, and I thought I had a tough time with watercolors, but I actually really like coloring or painting with watercolors. I do acrylics. That's how I started. I have both kinds. But my painting felt like a way to honor Daniel. So I did that, and I'm doing that. And I took the class, and I couldn't take the next class, but in the process, I did add some new paintings that kind of spoke to my emotions, and I'm working on some right now. I have some more going on. So painting has been a way to artistically channel and focus. It's very healing. I don't know how to put it. Like something artistic is very helpful. Um, I never realized that I enjoyed painting until recently. I've been in therapy. That's number three. Lots of therapy. I've always been in therapy for like ever. But therapy became a really important time to just check in and make sure I'm still focusing on some self improvement goals and moving towards them, that I'm okay, that grief isn't becoming completely debilitating. Um, yeah, excuse me. Hold on. My laptop came unplugged. So, anyway, as I plug in my laptop, because my laptop has a lot of years on it and it doesn't hold its battery. Anyway, okay, that's better. Lots of therapy. I advocate for it. I think it's very important to find people to talk to. And if you can't, then, therapy helps. John goes, I go, we go together. It's very helpful. I took some time, number five, doctors, dentists, like I made a list, all the things that make sure that I'm okay, right? Had physical. I caught up with all of my medical appointments that I needed. I have a consultation on Friday with a weight loss program. So I did gain some weight because what they tell me is the cortisol, the stress, the fight or flight, that most people or a lot of people gain weight. And since I have fibromyalgia and I have a back disc issue with sciatic pain, it's all been worse and I'm struggling physically. So I decided to just really dig into taking care of myself. I mentioned this a little bit. Journaling, number six. I've been writing. I have journals. Um, I do like meditation, and then I'll do like journal writing prompts. But I also have a specific grief journal that I work on. Um, writing, writing, and writing. I write poems. I do lots of things. I doodle even in my journals. Whatever comes to my head. I find it very therapeutic. Um, uh, Number seven, my animals. So I spent time really paying attention to things that I had let go, like my all the vet appointments for my three animals, Holly, Henry, and Theo. It's like I just stepped into being a caregiver for myself and for the animals. Like it just felt like the right thing to do. Um, they all had checkups. They all had their blood work. Henry had a little scare where they thought he might have Cushing's disease, which really freaked me out, but he doesn't, thankfully. The cat had his teeth cleaned, so he needed blood work, and we did all these things over the past couple months, got them to the vet, and it just somehow made me feel more normal to have appointments for myself, animals, whatever, all on the schedule. Um, I also, restarted my physical therapy. I meant to mention that with doctors and stuff. I had been going before Daniel died for sciatic pain, and then it just got so bad, and I stopped going, and they discharged me. So I had them restart that. So that's helpful. Cleaning, decluttering, number eight. So I've been cleaning and decluttering and planning some remodeling in my house, going through my clothing, going through papers, cleaning out cabinets. I haven't really done anything in Dale's room, but I did feel like I was able to get rid of all of his medications and things like that. So I went through all the cabinets that have been taking up space, and it was very cathartic to do that. But in general, decluttering is a very helpful way to just make space, to be less stressed out. So it's an ongoing process because not only because of Daniel passing away, but we are in a very big house here, 4 bedrooms, with another Daniel's bedroom downstairs, and I have a lot of stuff from raising my family here, and we don't know that we're going to live here forever, and it gets overwhelming. Stuff gets overwhelming, so we've been consciously making an effort, and it's a process, but I've been working on that process as well. I have many projects and many ideas and many hobbies. And so this is what I'm saying is just kind of just trying to tell myself, okay, keep going, keep going. If all you feel like today is taking out your paint set, then that's okay. Music. So I play the flute. I probably haven't talked about it. So here's my flute. I didn't play for a long time, but I have recently started playing again. And Thomas recently told me, when I told him that I was playing again, he was pretty happy for me. He said it would be so cool if he could see me perform with an ensemble or in a band or something down the road, like to go and see me perform. So I kind of set that as a little goal, and I've been working on getting my embouchure back. It's hard to play when you're not used to it. It's like your muscles get sore real quick. Um, but it's coming back to me, and I'm enjoying it actually. So, yeah. And also, I'm teaching myself how to play the ukulele. So, the other thing I've been doing is trying to plan time to go to California to see my grandson. Just brainstorming ideas for different things that we want to do or could do. I did book a trip. I'm going in June to see Sarah and her fiance and my grandson Harrison. Um, John's got a business trip, so we're gonna kind of tag on to that and spend some time. Uh, Number 11, planning time to travel was 10. 11 was grief support. So I was invited to go to a grief support meeting. Now I haven't gone to any like group things up until the beginning of the month. And so that was really hard for me. I went to this grief support for parents, mostly who had adult children who have passed away. And it was kind of hard for me to get a lot of clarity there because it was just felt awkward, and John couldn't go with me. So I mean, my friend runs it, and they say to keep going to these things until like 2 or 3 times before you say no, it's not for me. So I'll go back at the next one. It only meets once a month. So um, number 12, physical activity. So yeah, as much as my sciatic pain and my fibromyalgia will endure, I try to move my body a little bit more. It's really hard when all I want to do is sit in my recliner. But yeah, I go to the therapy pool in our town, and just I have little walking shoes for water, and I just do laps in the water because walking like normally, like on the roads and stuff, is a little bit physically jarring. I do some yoga, I do some stretching, I walk the dogs when I can. It helps my brain, it helps my heart to just move myself. Even if my body gives me a lot of resistance, I know that it's the right thing to do. So I try to schedule that into the day. And number 13, and that's enough, is overall self care, right? So I seem to be able to manage more self care than I could the first month or two after Daniel died. I'm not forcing myself too hard. I'm just trying to be very intuitive about the whole thing, um, and not put a lot of pressure. But it's important to just keep checking in like that. Just, what can I do that is this okay? Like sometimes I'll say, is this okay? Do I feel okay? Yeah, this is okay, right? So I'm trying to find light when it feels dark. I often around here talk about that vision I mentioned earlier of Daniel telling me to feel, asking me if I can feel the light was more of a question. Can you feel the light, Mom? Can you feel it? So, and I really literally had a dream where I saw his face asking me if I could feel the light. And I woke up startled. And this is the real thing, because I heard the voice. And of course, he never spoke because he never was nonverbal, but it was his voice. And I wrote a poem recently about light and how important, light work is, if you know what light work is. And here's the poem. And I wrote this while I was sitting in my chair downstairs in the morning, where I like to sit and, meditate every day. And it's like my little ritual. So the poem's called Light. The simple act of visualizing brought me to a brighter light. It was glimmering, it was radiant, white almost, streaking in from the spring morning. When I woke, I knew the sun was out. Walking the dogs, I was warm. Yet after my space of quiet meditation, during which my pain released its tears, my eyes opened to a different light, so shiny and strong. It was so that I took a picture of the window through which it was coming. The morning was no different than other mornings I saw. How could it be so much brighter now than it was before? Pulsating and casting white radiance. And then a message came to my tired heart. And I lay my hands on its beating. Because the light was not coming from the outside. It was coming straight from me. May 7th, 2024. So that is essentially the check-in and what's been going on with me and how I've been trying to pull myself out of the darkness. It's not been easy. It's been I don't want to swear. But I'm here to tell you that grief is just like that, I guess. And everybody's grief is different. But in a lot of ways, it's just important to know that we get through grief with the support of other people, because it feels too insane. I thought I was losing my mind. I'm like, what is this? Why am I feeling this way? This is intense. And I learned that it's not something that ever changes. And you just learn how to carry it, and you learn how to interpret its messages. And it's just a way of dealing with the loss that was the love. It still is, but it's a transformation. It is in adapting. So ironically, my adapted life decided to really make another big change. And that is why I'm here. And I hope I will continue to enhance, encourage, figure out a way to share the message of my life as Daniel's mom, and my life as Daniel's mom without Daniel. But I do believe that he wants me to see the light and feel the light and share it with you. So that is the reason I am here now. And I hope that's okay. So that's it for today. And I will try to get back to another recording soon. I don't know every day what I'm going to do. No schedule yet, but I am here. And that in itself is a good thing. And I feel like I'm blessed to at least have somebody hear me. And I think you can leave messages now through the podcast. So there's a way that you can actually text me if you listen to the podcast on I think it's in the information section. I'm not sure, but if not, you can find me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook too. So that's all for now, and I will talk to you soon. Sending blessings and sending you light, and wishing you a happy early summer. All right, bye. Thank you.